Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be adding some stuff in my garage. So as you can see, I'm not in my usual filming spot. I'm in my garage, and it's really convenient because the garage happens to be right above the basement where the panel is. So I happen to notice that there's this heater on the wall, and then it just happens to go into the wall here, and I'll show you where that comes out. So here I am in the utility room, and that is exactly where it comes out. This is the slab that you saw above there, and it's actually really simple. Literally just drill through the wall, and then it comes out right there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is install a horn strobe or a device, a pull station, maybe a smoke detector, and then most importantly, I'm going to be adding an annunciator in the garage. Which is something that people have always been asking, when am I going to put an annunciator on the system? And the answer is now. All right, so anyways, we're back in the garage. So I'm planning to put the pull station somewhere around here. The device, the alarm will be somewhere up there, and then I'm probably going to put the annunciator on this wall. I don't really like the appearance of the annunciator directly above the pull station since I think that looks kind of too busy, and I kind of like the idea of it here because it's a nice little corner for everything. In the future, when I build a workbench along this wall, it'll be pretty out of the way, so that's good. All right, so I just put this 4x4 in. I make sure it's level. You can see I actually already drilled my hole. I just used this bit and then went straight through. Obviously, before you drill, make sure there's nothing in the way. This pipe is not even close. On the other side, there's a joist that goes this way. And basically, you can kind of see where I'm going with this. I'm just going to use conduit and then go up the wall. Now, technically, you're supposed to use a bushing here, but I got around that by just drilling a really small hole so it doesn't even possibly touch the metal. Technically, if I was doing this for a real installation, I would recommend doing that, but this is low voltage and it's not a real system, so it's fine. I just realized I should probably just install the actual boxes and conduit before I go ahead and fish wire, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So obviously you just need some conduit fittings. Go ahead and attach those like that. All right, so I've gone ahead and marked for where I want the pull station. So the bottom of the box is going to be on that line. I've marked them to be at the same height as the light switches, and then I've also marked up the EMT where I want to cut it. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to use my oscillating tool for this with a metal cutting blade just because I think that's the quickest. So I kind of just line it up. I don't really know how to show this on camera because it's probably going to screw up, but all right, so these are the two holes for the pull station box, and now I'm going to go ahead and send anchors in. I wish I could hit a stud, but unfortunately with the spacing and tight space restrictions, I kind of have to use anchors, but it should be fine for these very light devices. Hopefully these small ones work. If they don't, then I can always add those. Yeah, those are tight. I'll have to pound those in a little more. All right, so I went ahead and marked where I want my other box to be. I was gonna put it higher, but I don't want it to be blocked by that heater thing. So I've marked the conduit there, and now let's go ahead and cut this. All right, I leveled and marked out the box, so it's time to drill a hole. Put an anchor in. Yeah, that's secure. The holes line up perfectly. Let's go ahead and just drive a drywall screw in. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. Don't want to over torque the anchors. All right, so the box is up, and at this point now we can go ahead and start running wire. All right, so I have the wire through, and that's pretty much all I'm gonna need. And look at that dust, gross. Anyways, on this end, I kind of just roughed out how much I would need, and now I'm just gonna push this up the conduit. Pretty simple. All right, so there's our wire, nice and simple, and now I just have to do the same thing 3 more times. So I have my MC cable cut roughly. I'm probably going to trim it a little more. I'm thinking to go along the corner of the wall just because that will probably look the best, and then just kind of put it right here. I've marked holes for the box, so now let's go ahead and just do the same thing we did with all the other boxes. So I went ahead and connected the annunciator wires. It's pretty simple. You just tie it into the A and N bus. The wiring is pretty simple. You just have negative, positive, and then A and B. I just designated that as green and yellow. And then for the alarm or the pull station, I just tied that into the next unused zone. And then unfortunately for the NAC, what I had to do is I made a junction point up there. I just tied into the NAC that's going out to the other rooms. Unfortunately, I don't think that's really code compliant if this was an actual system, because then like now that device isn't really supervised, but honestly, it's fine. I'm not too worried about that. But in the future, I might do something about that. But now, basically, it's just some cable management. I'm going to staple down all of that, and then we should be done. So I finished splicing everything. I ended up using Wagos. I know a lot of you hate Wagos. Honestly, the only problem I have with them is that they cost a lot of money. If they were cheap, I'd probably use them more. But since this is low voltage and I might change this down the road, I decided to use them. But now all I have to really do is just cover this up and then put the devices in upstairs. So I'm going to go ahead and install the Annunciator. So I'm just going to strip each of these individual conductors. For this, I'm going to feed the wires through this hole first. You might not be able to see very well. And then I'm going to put it onto the mounting holes. All right, next up, the pull station. This one should be really straightforward. It's just 2 wires. So just strip them. The pull test, once again, that seems fine. Just push the cable back into the box. Out of the way. And then we need 1 screw. Close it back up. There we go. Here we are. Everything's installed. I actually think this looks really good. Might look good on camera, but it looks way better in person. I would have done offset bends, but I don't have a bender, like I said. So now all I have to do is go power on the system and then program this stuff in. I do have to enable the ANN bus, but otherwise we are done. First, I'm going to enable the Annunciator. So I think I go to like option modules and then ANN bus. So I'm going to enable that. I think that's pretty much it. I could go to ANN 80 options, lock enable, all this stuff, you know, and then we're done. And also I'm going to go to zone 8, and then I'm going to make it the garage pull station. So I'm going to come with a description, and then I'm just going to type this in.